this young guy was working he owns a franchise, and he said, I decided I'm really interested in marketing. I'm learning everything I can about marketing, and I'm going to start a marketing agency. And this is a guy literally just starting from square one. And he said, what are the skills I need to develop to be good at this agency? And after I got through like strategic thinking, because he was saying copywriting, after I got past strategic thinking, I kind of went, blah, blah, blah. I mean, what's your thinking these days, Dennis? I mean, because you're very much into the people process
Yeah,
and
right.
and talent acquisition. You've been doing this a long time. Like, what do we need to be looking at? What skills would young people need to be successful today?
Right. It's interesting. It kind of harkens me back, right? Maybe about 5 years ago, when I was still at Johnson and Johnson, I was asked the same question during one of the conferences, and we and my CMO, we had been advocating that the modern marketer had four basic skills, right? And we called it the four S's of modern marketing. So number one, you talked about it, is that everybody has to be a socializer, right? So your ability to be able to share your ideas, be able to make it viral, right? Build communities that appreciate and understand the marketing and the brands that you are advocating for. That's a super important skill, right? So socializer. The second one is scientist, right? And it's a little bit related to the thing I talked about earlier around AI, right? So that in this digital world where you got to be able to move as quickly as possible, your ability to understand and appreciate what data means, right? And being able to have a scientific approach towards learning what works and doesn't not work. In practically every area of our business, whether it be in content management, in innovation, messaging, etc. Your ability to understand hypothesis, change, adapt, and determine what works and what not becomes an important component, as a scientist in itself.
Sure.
Right? The other thing is your point that everybody's got to be a storyteller, right? So that's the third S, right? Being able to narrate and tell your story and your point of view in as well and as succinct as possible, engaging people in your customers in a way that's compelling and meaningful. Just talked about that in terms of a brand. And then the fourth one is that of a strategist, right? Because and I think oftentimes this is where we forget that our responsibilities as a brand is to strategize towards end impact goals and growth, right? So in other words, like if you think about your job sometimes in the agency, which is what we used to comment a lot about, people make creatives, but they don't really connect it with how this is really impacts growth, or results, for my business, right?
Yeah.
And so thinking about strategies that connects this with understanding social impact and growth, I think is super important. Now, there's a fifth S, which I'm beginning to build now, and will be blogging soon about this as well, right? In terms of a important skill, and it's related to, I think, the evolving role that I'm seeing a marketer must do. And it is related to its unique role and where they begin to sit in organizations. And that is one of a synthesizer, which is the fifth S, right? Because I think where we've gone wrong awry in marketing is the fact that we've ended up giving ourselves or putting ourselves in different silos. You're the storyteller, you're the data guy, you are the social media team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you guys don't talk, right? You don't know how they all integrate and work towards the end goals of the business itself. And so I'm a firm believer that for the marketer of the future or now, right?
Yeah.
Especially using AI, right? This is an effective and efficient way of bringing back control to the marketer by
Yeah.
having them be the synthesizer of the multiple silos of information that exist and understand how they can all be coordinated towards